Welcome. Oh, let me pull this down for 1 second here. Welcome to the DorkLair live stream. Today we have a special group of guests on, the creators of the Legendari, Marco and Jeremy. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
And Chris and Larry could not make it, and so Trevor is filling in for them.
You can just call me Clary.
Clary?
Amalgam. I gotta bulk up though for that.
Not Liss.
Or have a squeaky chair. But he got rid of the squeaky chair. So
yeah, he definitely did. Yeah, bulk up for sure. Haircut might be kind of on point.
Yeah, it's probably appropriate actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So then also in the news, we're gonna do a bunch of news first, and then we'll dive into the Legendari stuff. But we're gonna talk about the Mezco Indiana Jones drop yesterday, and then we're gonna talk a little ThreeZero, some Hot Toys, Haslab update, and then we'll get into the Legendari stuff. So Trevor, any recent pickups or anything like that?
Recent pickups. God, I don't know how. I got Moon Knight from Hot Toys. Which is really, really cool. I got all this stuff. I think you guys have been up since Powe-Con or no? Not really, right?
What's that?
Have you done a show since Powe-Con? You did, right?
Did, yes.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, so I picked this up. Picked up,
nice.
Of course, the Operative 83.
Yep. I haven't opened my Operative yet. I did open my
Scourge, of course.
Yeah, I opened Scourge, and it's on the table, and I'm hoping tomorrow morning to record the review and then get that edited maybe tomorrow night or something like that.
Nice. Vintage.
Hey, Nate Strong is in the house.
What's up, Nate? Picked this up.
Oh,
at
the vintage
show.
Collection?
Yeah. Did I pick this up at the show? Or did I order this? I don't remember. I don't know. It was. I think I was going to pick it up at the show, and I realized I ordered it, so I didn't. But really nice, man. These I love the vintage collection, man.
Yeah,
love it. It's really cool. And then I picked up some more Joy Toy Battle for the Stars stuff. Oh, more 1/18 stuff.
Looking
Cowgirl.
Cool.
And then picked up a couple heads at the show.
Ooh, nice.
Super Shoddy.
Yep.
And Tristan's paints.
Cool. That's sweet.
And, I got a. This thing came in. This is like my second custom Joaquin Joker.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I like the other one that came out so well, so I may be selling that one. We'll see. Right. That's about it.
Just pick the better one and keep it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Recon Rage has that Moon Knight. Says it's phenomenal.
It is great. I just cracked it open and looked at it, but I haven't really messed with it too much. So, but it looks great. It looks really, really cool.
I've been still going down my comic Turtles rabbit hole here, and this is the Wanderer Michelangelo, which is an interesting. It's like very issue specific. There's this one issue where you see Michelangelo like battling samurai in like feudal Japan throughout the whole issue, and then you don't find out to the very end that it's like him writing like his own short story, or like he's just like writing in his journal like short stories.
It's like it's his own fan fiction.
Dreaming it up. Yeah, it's like it turns out to be a dream kind of thing. Yeah,
it was all a dream.
So that's like, but it's a cool look, and it kind of connects with the Raphael that's in the 4-pack that has the hood piece on there, sort of like these clothed things. But anyway, yeah, so I've been kind of continuing down that road, mostly trades, although that one I did buy, but I've almost completely picked up all of my turtle stuff through trades, which has been nice to not spend money on it and just trade extra legions for it, and that's like some people in the Cabal and some others been really good with that stuff. And so just like some shout outs, I kind of put all of the names up there on the screen, but we got Rob Zamora, Mock Symbiont, Dave Orkin, KJ Smith, Cloud Foxwell, Javier Islas, Recon Rage, Nate Strong, our podcast mate, Blaze Bear, J Mac, Steve Wegling, Mark Pearson hasn't been here in a while. Nice to see Bill live. Sucks Chris couldn't make it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer. But like we were live, was it last week? Yeah, we were live last week. It's been a while since we've done it like multiple weeks in a row. Edgardo, Zoom Fig, Rick Jones, Omega, and Steven with a V. What is up, everybody? Let's dive into a little bit of news. I want to kind of like cruise through this so we can get to Jeremy and Marco. But I'd like to hear Jeremy and Marco's take on some of these news items. This one is pretty much just like housekeeping type stuff. So today, the Powe-Con people sent out an email letting everybody know that they're working on the cape thing, that the Demistros did not ship with capes on a lot of them. And so they have all the emails and they're working on it. But the key thing that I took away from this particular email, there's two little bits. One is if you're leaving it in box, for some reason they want you to send a picture of it in box so they can sort of, I guess, confirm that it, like, I don't know if they don't trust the user to like confirm that it's in there or whatever, but they might, I don't know. Or maybe they're just, they want you to send pictures of the bottom of the box too. So maybe they're just trying to like get a
see if the
sense
tape is still there.
Yeah. So tape is there. Do you have cape on it? Yes. Right.
Yeah. So you can see the skirt in there that's on it. I mean, you really can't in this camera, but the cape is kind of tough to see. It's
behind
back here, but you can't really, you got to kind of look at it in the right light and make sure that there's this black shape back there in order to see that you have it.
I'm looking for mine. Hold on 1 second.
But they, when they were handing mine out, they're like, the cape and the skirt are in there. Everything's in there. And I didn't even check, and I should have. But I got home, and I'm like, okay, everything's cool.
So I received one, and I already took it out of the box and did a review. But the one that I ordered online does not have the tape on the bottom. And so that might be what they're looking for, to get a sense of like batches. They said something about batches.
Okay.
And then, so I think the ones that have the cape are taped, which is weird. Like, it's like, what? Yeah, that's kind of an interesting.
Someone stole the capes.
Like it missed, or they missed a step, huh? And like,
because they got
that
mailed.
Step would have been involved, maybe reopening it and putting them in there. I have no clue, like what that.
Or maybe they were meant to. Maybe they didn't tape those boxes. Maybe the factory didn't tape them because the capes weren't placed in them, and they were given little tabs to put on them after they put them in. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I'm not
maybe.
really sure what was going on. Yeah, I don't know if they had to manually do all that stuff, and then, the point was that they got ahead of themselves and didn't. Whoever was doing it didn't put the capes and the skirts in the initial mailings. So
yeah, and I'm looking around my room right now
because
because I'm trying to find my one that that Jeff and Erica picked up for me at the show, but it's around here somewhere. I have not opened it yet, but I don't know where it is. It's around here somewhere.
Do you see this? Did you see the skirt and the cape in there though?
Yeah, they are in there. Yeah.
yeah. I think the ones picked up at the show were all cool. Everything was good there.
Right. Yeah.
It was just the ones mailed out. So
the cape thief.
Which you think they'd have you didn't think they'd know exactly which ones, how many went out. Whatever. I don't know. Yeah, this seemed like a kind of a crazy step that you have to take a picture of it, but whatever.
Yep. And then the other part of it is that they want you to re-email them with an address. And I did that. I followed up with that, and I emailed them again. And very shortly after, they responded and said, your ticket is confirmed. Whatever they said, like they just like acknowledged that that my request is being processed or whatever.
Yeah. Let this be a lesson to you guys.
Yeah, we're taking notes.
Kevin's finally gonna sub. You're gonna finally subscribe.
Wow.
So that's that. That's really the only Legion's news that we had here today. And then next up, we have an update from a couple of things that we shared last week. So last week we had the Monster Force stuff. We had the what was it called? The Donner Expedition.
Donner Party, yeah.
The Donner Party, right?
Yeah.
And then this is part of that same wave 2 or season 2, and this is the next one. I think this is really cool because like it's like an Invisible Man, right?
Yeah.
And
is it wasn't it what was Griffin? That has something to do with it. Why am I?
Does it? I'm not sure.
I don't know why that ties into the Invisible Man, but yeah. I love this. I love this line, man.
It's cool. I'm trying really hard to resist, but it's getting harder. Like something like this makes it really difficult.
They're all sitting in my cart on BBTS, and I haven't pulled the trigger yet.
I'm the same
way. I'm going to. Like, no, not yet. Yeah. Griffin. Griffin is a brilliant research scientist who discovered. Griffin is the name of the guy from the Invisible Man.
Oh, okay.
The Mr. Griffin or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. So there you go.
The Eraser. I love it.
Yeah.
Like
cool.
I'll definitely be buying one at least of that first wave so that I can maybe review it or just mess around with it, take some pictures and just get a feel to see how they feel and stuff. And then I'll go from there. But I'm trying to resist because I'm trying to kind of stay away from this like modern aesthetic on a lot of figures, like the Valaverse, the G.I. Joes, like all that stuff. It's like there's just so much of it. And I'm so heavy into the cosmic and the mythic stuff that like this whole like it's kind of a way to like tame myself here, but I'm going to fall into it.
Yeah. It's not all that way though, right? There's some different ones with some of the Lovecraftian figures aren't quite as modern. I think it's just fun because of the monster angle to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like otherwise this could be a G.I. Joe figure if it just had a regular head on it, I suppose.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just really buying into all the monster stuff.
I start
from a storytelling and photo standpoint, I think I could do some really fun stuff with it. So
my logic is once I start buying like this figure, say it's like it's just another step to be like, let me grab that G.I. Joe to go with.
You can't stop there. You have to just keep kind of going down that path.
And that's why, like, to me, that my little turtle obsession remains kind of little because there's a very finite, there's only so many of them that are like the comic book turtles. They don't make a lot of them. So I'm kind of like pigeonholed into that one little angle with those.
Did you see the 5 points today from Mezco?
Yeah, I did. Like I won't get those.
Oh, okay.
Which is funny because I love 5 points, but I've been kind of like drifting away from them a little bit. They look cool. It'll be interesting to see what they come with. Like they'll probably come with a diorama of some sort or some sort of like playset type thing is my guess.
Ooh, sewer playset. Look out, NECA.
Right, $300.
Off good on that guy.
Yeah, so we've got Toht. What is his name? Not General.
No. Commander? No. God, I should know this.
Somebody will put it in the chat.
Lieutenant? No, I don't.
Helpless.
He doesn't have a military. He doesn't have a military.
Major.
Yeah,
it's a military.
Oh, he does military. Okay. That's
right, Major. So you got like I love how you have the 3 stages of the melting.
I know that's so great. Like you could literally recreate this entire like scene right here in stop motion.
But 112.
Trevor, you're up.
Yeah. It's my first stop motion. I mean, this is the clincher because like if you look at the last set, like there's not a lot. I mean, 3 heads, but like do you really need all those heads? But not a lot of hands, not a lot of anything. But you get the freaking Ark of the Covenant. Man.
The Ark of the Covenant. Wow.
Yep.
Light.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's like you take the top off. There's a light, and there's the ghost coming out of it up top. Right.
I like
That's going to be sick.
I like the ghost a lot. Yeah.
Got the little like incense holder on the sides.
That's right.
Certain way to light it, and that light will probably be sufficient to just illuminate that translucent ghost.
For sure.
Pretty cool.
Really cool. And then, there's the other angle of that ghost there.
Wow.
Can be.
Oh, he's got the fireplace poker. I didn't realize he had that too. That's cool.
Yep. And then moving into some DLX or some 3-0 news, we've got their air quotes 1/12 scale Iron Man line. It's not. They're like 7 inches tall. I I collect them though because I don't collect anything else. Like this is a line that I am into. These figures are phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
These are to me like what I really wanted to get a Hot Toys Iron Man at someday, and then like I finally caved and was like, I can go with these. You know, I can get 4 of these things for the price of a Hot Toys Iron Man. So I am collecting these. This is the Mark V, the suitcase armor.
Comes with the
And
case.
Yeah, it comes with the suitcase. Yep.
Nice.
And these things are like, they're an interesting beast. They're really stiff joints because they're all metal. Or like the joints are metal. Most of the figure is metal. There are some plastic parts, but like, you know, the joints are metal. But like they have a crazy range of articulation. They are incredibly articulated. Really? They're just a weird thing because they're so stiff, and it's like, it's not like posing an action figure. It's a different experience, but really, really nice figures. And the colors are great. Very metallic, very nice figures. So yes, we've got Iron Man. And then we got the 6 scale G.I. Joe stuff. They put out 2 more. So we've got Cobra Commander now. And then we've got Destro.
Ooh.
Man, I had these originals from, I think they were Sideshow, right? Put out the original.
Yeah, the Sideshow. Yep.
Yeah, I had those for the longest time and sold them. I don't know how long ago, but these are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely cool.
I like that.
Thankfully, not
I know Larry is like chomping at the bit for these. We'll see if he keeps going on the line.
Is Chris a G.I. Joe collector? Not really, no.
Yeah, I think he's got a few. He's not like his like, I think one of his main things is like Jurassic Park, Turtles, stuff like that. But like he dabbles in Joes for sure.
Either you guys collect like 1/6 stuff or anything like that, or what are you?
No, those are about 12 inch. Those are dope.
12.
I don't have any in my collection.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe was originally very true.
It's an expensive
it was originally 12 inch.
Yep.
I
had
growing
all
up,
those.
I had just the little ones. Yeah, never the 12 inch.
I had my cousin came by and dropped off, like he was going off to college, so he gave me like the original 12-inch G.I. Joes, the space capsule, the Jeep, which was as big as this table. It was nuts, man. It was so cool. I love
it. You need like a whole room just to display it.
Yeah, Kung Fu grip, everything, man. It was great. I love this thing, fuzzy hair and all.
The closest thing I ever had to something like that was the Migos. The Migos were sort of the bridge, I think, to like the Star Trek, the 80s stuff, you know.
Yep. For sure.
And then we've got Hot Toys. Some Hot Toy Star Wars stuff. We've got a Sand Trooper and Dewback, $700, which is an interesting thing to contemplate when thinking about that Battle Cat that Mondo put out that's fully articulated, and then, you know, this, which is essentially a statue with some swap out parts. But then you have a
Battle Cat was $500, right, by itself.
Yep.
Which is about what this is.
Same price as this, but like
by itself. Yeah.
Battle Cat is fully articulated, right?
Yeah, it's disappointing that they don't do articulate. I get it in the elbows. It might get a little weird.
Yeah.
But at the very least, I would have liked a couple of different limbs that, like, you know, more like a deluxe statue or something like that. I think even the head is like, the mouth isn't articulated. There's two swappable heads that has the closed mouth and the open mouth. I mean, this is the way they did it. Sideshow put these out. Put one of these out years ago, along with the Tauntauns, which I'm assuming are going to be pretty close behind these. I mean, for that and the Sand Trooper, it's not a terrible price, but this thing is massive.
Oh yeah,
man,
huge.
It's massive.
Way bigger than the Battle Cat.
The 1 6-pack, we determined it was as big as an average stove. I don't know how we got that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
TJ brought that up.
I was watching that night,
and then everybody was going to measure their stoves.
Yeah, we all went and measured our stoves that night. 30 inches,
just to see 30 inches, to see how big your dewback is going to be. So, like, for me,
inches.
Like, as much as I would love to have this thing, this is a space sucker, man. I can't do it. I want to do it, but I can't.
So you got the $700 2-pack that's got the deluxe dewback plus the Sand Trooper. Then you have the deluxe dewback that's got the swap out head and the swap out limb. And then for $455, and then, this is the basic. And then the deluxe for $455 has the swap out parts. And then you have the Sand Trooper itself for $255, which on like my initial gut was like, wow, $255 for a Stormtrooper. This should be $220 in my mind, but this is like very heavily detailed and like it's got a lot of gear. Yeah. So yeah,
and not anymore. Like $285 is your average.
But the Stormtrooper Commander that you can go buy right now, that's $220, right?
Is it?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, he does come with the backpack and stuff like that.
And like a basic clone would be like $220, $235.
Is it?
I think so.
I don't know, man.
Look it up.
Fireside Holdings, we have not talked about Meta Travelers yet. We will very soon.
We will very soon. We're almost there. And then just a teaser.
Hell yeah.
But we had the premiere of Ahsoka, first 2 episodes. And this was different because they did a 9 p.m. I was so happy about this. Do a 9 p.m. and it's 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 6 p.m. on the West Coast. Like there's a decent number of people who can watch it that night. Whereas when you do it at like 3 a.m., it's like everybody's got to wait till like Friday or whatever night, the following night.
Yeah.
Unless you're me and you're psychotic and you go to work early. Like I'll go to work at like 6 instead of 6:30 just to like watch the next episode of whatever it is. But
I hate it because you wake up and like I want to watch it because I want to be on the internet that day. You know what I mean? And yet my wife, we like to watch them together, and like I gotta wait till 8 o'clock at night for us to sit down and watch them together. So this is fantastic.
I think the rest of the season is gonna be normal. It's gonna be how it is.
Oh really?
Been. It seems like that because this came out on a
really stupid
Tuesday night, right? This came out on a Tuesday night, and the episodes are dropping on Wednesdays. And originally the release date of the first episode was supposed to be Wednesday. It even said it in Disney Plus, but it premiered Tuesday night. So I kind of have a feeling, I don't know, maybe their like data will show how awesome and successful it was to do it on that that way. And then they'll change it. But it seems like the rest of them are going to be like 3 a.m. Wednesday morning or something.
Had they been staggering the shows? I feel like Mandalorian, wasn't that more on the weekends, or was that like a Thursday?
It was a Friday. It was a Friday morning, I think, or a Thursday morning. It was a morning.
Thursday morning,
like midweek content, which is nice, at least Not the way to the weekends.
I even like Tuesday nights. Like would be great, and you know what I mean. Like not a lot.
Whatever night
YouTube
for me, preferably not Thursday night because that's when we go live. But
whatever
night,
that's a problem.
Or whatever day, it would be cool if it were that night at 9, like right at 9. Really cool.
No spoilers. What did you think?
I thought it was good. It was really good. Very Rebels-y, which is expected.
I enjoyed it, but I'm not sure if my enjoyment wasn't skewed by seeing Rebels in real life. You know what I mean? Like there was some things about it that I was like the dialogue was a little stilted in places, and I really want to see Rosario Dawson do more than just cross her arms and look sideways. They're giving her a lot of that to do, and I want to see her get a little more emotional and excited, I think. Right. But other than that, I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. I love the people they got to play these parts. I was wondering about Hera, but she was good. Mary Elizabeth was good.
Steven said they switched it to call it Tano Tuesday.
So hopefully it will be at a good time.
Okay. Yeah, I thought they were doing them all Tuesday.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
I hope they switched.
But I am totally buying this for sure.
I am as well.
I'm getting all the.
If I have a Hot Toys focus, it is Mandalorian armors, so I'll be getting this. I don't know if I'm going to pre-order it right away, but I'll be getting this for sure.
Will you do all the Rebels or just the just because Sabine's a Mandalorian?
Just because Sabine's a Mandalorian.
Okay. I'm going to be disappointed because I know they're not going to do Zeb unless he's in it, and which I hope he is. But.
Well, he was in Mando. I hope he's in it because he was in Mando, right?
I know. I just got a weird feeling that they're not. I know. But Hot Toys tends to stray away from those kind of characters and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. He's a big oversized. Yeah, that's going to be a beast. Speaking of Rebels, well, actually, this is still an Ahsoka product, right? Because the Haslab or the Haslab Ghost is branded as Ahsoka, though. The stretch goals are Rebels themed, and they hit the Ezra unlock at 11,000. It hasn't gone much past that. It's like I checked today; it was like 11,300 or something.
I'm starting to see a lot of campaigns like that they had for the what was the first one? The
barge had
a lot of people like putting out like, come on, let's go, like because I really want Zeb. I really want all.
And there's a great logic to to like saying, hey, just back it right away. You can always change your mind later. You're not paying up front, but if you want to see these stretch goals met, you have to back it early. And we'll talk about backing early and backing crowd funds in a little bit. But 14,000 for Kanan, and then 17,000 for.
That scares me, man.
I mean, they're only at 11,000, so there's gonna have to be something major to like push it.
Things jump up, but I don't know, man. I'm hoping the show will have, but I mean, I was really well. All right, I'll stay away from spoilers. But I think when people see it in the show, maybe it'll help a little bit, maybe. But I don't think anybody who doesn't know this ship is going to jump on it after seeing it once or twice in a show. So I don't know. I don't know if the audience is too small for this or what.
I think it can be pushed by the right people. Promoting it, right? Like that is a thing that can happen.
Well, Steve Evans is doing his damnedest to put it out there. So
yeah, I mean, you need like some robos, some some of the big names, even like celebrities, like Rosario Dawson tweeting about it, or I don't know, just some more promotional stuff. But so that's
for sure.
That's that. So 13 days left, 17,000 to get to Zeb, and then there's a lot of people who theorize if it really this might be a pipe dream now, but if it really went through the roof, they could have Chopper added as well, or maybe Sabine. I don't know, but yeah. All right. Thank you for being patient, Marco and Jeremy. We're on to our legendary section of the podcast. We're going to talk about this new action figure line that Marco and Jeremy are creating. And why don't you introduce yourselves? Marco first.
Okay. How's it going? I'm Marco. I'm one of the founders of Meta Traveler's Legendary line. This has been a passion project that we've been working on for the last 3 years. Started off working on some motion comics and kind of introducing this story world and this universe of characters. And then for about the last year and a half, building out the action figures, around this alien race that's called the Nibiru, which are like interdimensional explorers. So thank you guys so much for having us.
Yeah, and I'm Jeremy, also co-founder of Meta Travelers, and for us, the past few years have really been about storytelling and character development, and so we're just excited to bring this to life physically for the first time with Legendari, and that's kind of what all these action figures are all about.
Yeah. Sweet. So just for folks watching, if you want to follow along with the Meta Travelers, you got their Instagram, Twitter, and their Discord server, which I just joined today, by the way. And then, so in the description below, I do have the Instagram link, and I have the Kickstarter link as well. The Kickstarter is not live yet. It'll be going live end of month, right? And then, but you can go there now. And one of the ways that you can support it is to like hit the, remind me, or what the button that says, let me know when it's
notify.
The notify button. Yep. And so you can click that link and then just do that, and then it'll let you know when it goes live. So tell us about this before we kind of dive into the individual figures. Tell us about the line in general, where you guys are coming from, what you envision with toys, and how you kind of got there. Just tell us about this line.
Totally. Yeah. So this is 7-inch tall figures. Kind of as I was mentioning before, kind of started off with the comics and the story. As far as, the line these characters. I'm a huge fan of sci-fi and fantasy, so this is really like a blend of these styles, and it obviously took a lot of inspiration from the different kind of universes that I grew up watching, from the Star Wars and MCU or Lord of the Rings, and just kind of this a lot of different inspiration that kind of came in from it. And also, I'm a big gamer, so kind of pulling from things that were childhood games and fight games and things like that to kind of come up with a lot of different unique characters, but they all kind of also had their background kind of inspire what the technology, what they would be wearing, or kind of the overall essence of the figures. Jeremy, feel free.
Yeah, and it's been a privilege for us to work on this collection. Our partners that we have are top notch. Andy Lanning, most notably known for Guardians of the Galaxy, and Ant Williams, who does all the hand-drawn comic work. They've really helped us to develop the story and the lore for all the characters. What originally just started as 3 characters ended up just kind of snowballing throughout the process. We were just super excited. Every new character, we're like, oh, well, we can reimagine it this way, or we can introduce another character. Maybe that character needs allies, and we have all these groups emerge. And I guess to backtrack a little bit, the universe that we've designed with them, at the core of it is this concept of interdimensional travel. And so, these beings from the Legendari land in Nibiru, they have the ability to travel across these parallel dimensions, interact with new species or guilds, and obviously you have tons of other characters we look forward to introducing down the line as well. But starting with these characters, they're most uniquely known for their ability to conjoin, and that's where they basically merge consciousness and physical being with either their environment or another character. And so you'll start to see different elements and styles portrayed through the variety of characters, all while kind of sharing some similar traits that derives from their home planet, Mirror Prime. But yeah, we have 32 episodes of motion comics, and so if you're interested in kind of the origin story, there's kind of lots to dive into on that side.
So how did that come up? Like, what was going way back? Like, what was the idea behind this to start a motion comic or a comic? I mean, like, where was the grain of this? Where did this come from, and whose idea? Did you guys come together to do this in terms of stories, or how did that develop?
Yeah. So we wanted to kind of create, this story and these characters. And I was actually chatting with a friend named Liam Sharp, who is an artist with DC. And I had messaged him and I said, I really want to create, like a rich, lore and backstory to kind of introduce these characters and kind of, do some storytelling. And we weren't sure at first if we wanted to do a comic, or we ended up, with a motion comic. And, he had hooked me up with Andy Lanning. And so we got on a call with Andy and we kind of, started to explain to him, this, idea for this, universe of characters. And at that time, there was multiple kind of guilds, and I'm talking to Andy. I'm like, kind of like that crazy guy with the cork board behind him with all the different guilds and how they're going to connect. And, he's looking at me, and he was, the red strings. And, I'm this kind of nutty guy, and he was nice enough to, hear me out and, kind of hear this story. And, kind of told him, I'd love to be able to kind of, develop this. And, I didn't know what, what he was going to say. And, he's like, I think this is really interesting. I think it's interesting because it's like a new opportunity to build out, a universe. And you're not just thinking about like a single character or even like a single, race of beings, but, you have this idea of kind of really merge out. And at the time, there was actually a few different kind of, I was calling them guilds or different races that I didn't know where we were going to start with originally. And, Andy's like, just like when we did the MCU, we didn't start with the Avengers, and to all these things that, let's figure out where we want to start the story. And so, we thought that the Nibiru, because of their kind of, or at least, where we had, I had a kind of a very soft kind of bios of kind of where I thought that these characters, how I envisioned them, and, kind of their different traits, but them being kind of these interdimensional explorers that would kind of open the door to them, popping into different dimensions and, kind of opening up the door for us to storytell and introduce new types of characters and things like that. And so, yeah, that was about in 2021. And then we started off, at first we just started off with the single motion comic. We're just kind of starting off a little bit slow, and then it just kind of.
Was the goal to do like motion comp? Was that like your ultimate goal, or was it like to like, hey, let's get this out here, maybe we can get an animation going, or was it like, hey, we want to move towards doing action figures, or was action figures like, hey, maybe we should do action figures? Was it like...
Definitely something that we wanted to do. It wasn't until we kind of got hooked up with Four Horsemen where we had someone that we could, partner with to help kind of bring these characters, because we had started designing the characters, but obviously creating characters and then creating action figures is, two different things, right? And we had talked to people in the past, and we could have done like maybe 3D prints and stuff, but not like articulated action figures. And we talked to Joe Vettery, and he's all fired up. And he's like, he's like, I know you got
Joe. No,
you got to come. That
doesn't sound like him at all.
Head out to the studio. And so I think it was like that week when I heard that there was like this opportunity, I called Jeremy. I was like, dude, we're doing action figures. He's like, what? I'm like, we're going to Jersey. So we hopped on a plane, like flew out to New Jersey, and that actually just happened to kind of coincide with Legions Con was that going to be that month. So we came like a week and a half early to Jersey, went out to the studio, got to meet the guys at Four Horsemen Studios and kind of, talk to them about this, these characters. And I remember meeting George and the guys. I brought everyone the comic. I'm like, here you guys go. Sat down with them and, got a chance to like look what they were doing. And, their studio was just incredible, so just having a chance to kind of walk through and see, 3D prints and the prototypes and the paint masters and just kind of being able to kind of experience that whole kind of production. And, we knew, I think right there, like, okay, like this will be the perfect partnership for us to kind of bring this, these characters to life. So yeah, it kind of got out of hand quickly, and then we just kind of decided we wanted to go for it.
And we started, like I said, we started with 3 characters, but obviously along the process, it's just we're learning so much as we're working with them, because decades of experience, right? And so we're having to refine what we have, take everything to the next level, add the little details, and then of course make more and more characters.
And and then you got Joe chiming in my ear, texting. He's like, I think you should do 6 figures. And then we get to 6, and Joe's like, yeah. He's like, but you probably want to have some army builders. I'm like, oh, come on. And then like, it just keeps kind of going. And Joe's that guy. But yeah, it was fun.
How did you get hooked up with Joe Vettery?
So Joe actually discovered us through a lot of the stuff we were doing with this collection when we were doing the motion comics, and we were doing a lot of we actually had some of these characters as like digital avatars that you could use in like virtual reality. And George and he both discovered it, and we were actually talking on a call with, it was about something completely different, and he hopped I can't remember the other company that Joe has, I'm blanking out right now, but it was a call about the digital stuff that we were doing. And he's like, he just kind of in the background, he's like, yeah, if you want to do you want to talk to me about some action figures on this, just kind of lays that out there. And I remember I get off the call and I'm like, who was that guy? I'm like, I looked through the email chain. I was like, Joe. And I like, hey, Joe, you want to talk about action figures, and then it just kind of like escalating from there. So it was awesome.
That's cool. I just want to give a shout out. Kevin Dufresne joins. Not only did he subscribe today,
he's a man of his word.
He also became a member. I actually did something for the members recently. I feel bad because I don't do a lot for the members. But I did I dropped a video early. I need to do more stuff. I want to do some members only live streams. And I want to drop some videos early. The problem is when I do a video, it's usually like been a while and I just want to get it out there. But if I can get a couple videos in a row and I have one waiting, I'm going to try to just like drop it early for the members. So little bonuses for members. I'm going to try to do a little more of that. But thank you, Kevin, for becoming a member. It's only $1 a month. If anybody else wants to become a member, there's a link down in the description below. Cool. So let's take a look at some of these figures, right? So this is the Eternal Guard, and I have the the layout image here, and then this one has 2 layout images because it's got the giant wings, right? And then I have the prototype image, which these photos were done by Trevor, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor did an amazing job. All the lighting and colors too, matching everything up. Really brought the prototypes to life.
Yeah, these are paint masters, so like you know, they don't move.
Can't pose 'em,
basically.
yeah.
It's when people,
Yeah.
but I think they
Yeah.
look good, really good. They had them in some good poses. You know, this is kind of a standard pose, I think, for paint masters. But you know, the paints again. This is Four Horsemen, man. They do beautiful prototypes too. I mean, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah.
They're really
I'm
cool to look at.
I'm gonna jump ahead for 1 second in the
Mhm.
slideshow because I think it would be good to understand the articulation before we start diving in. So I'm gonna put up the articulation here.
Yeah, that's good.
So you've got what I would consider very close or similar to Mythic Legion's articulation, right? You have, I mean, there's a few things a little bit different, right? Because you have the barbell joint in the neck, which is a little bit different from Legion's. But you have the ball jointed waist. You have the hinge elbows, shoulders, knees, ankle rockers. Most of this seems very, although the ball joint at the hip, is that a ball joint or a hinge and swivel?
Ball joint.
Ball joint at the hip. So that's a little bit different from Legion's, but yeah, most of the other points I think are pretty similar.
Yeah. For us, a lot of the decisions behind it too. For example, when we went to Legion's Con, you know, we just met a ton of customizers, and we were kind of blown away by the passion behind that, right? And so we were coming from that perspective, like, what can we do to provide as many fun combinations or possibilities that they'll want to come up with?
And that plays into your story, right? Because your characters are like melding with each other and merging with the environment and stuff. So being able to like mix and match is kind of like core to the story too.
For sure.
All right, let me jump back up to here where we were. Yep. So this guy is Eternal Guard. Anything you want to tell us about this guy?
Yeah, so this is one of kind of like a legendary protector of Mira Prime, the home world of the Nibiru. And so kind of part of this character's story is, you know, as we said, the kind of he can conjoin with, you know, different elements or, you know, other beings. This is like a very rare exosuit that he kind of conjoined with that essentially, you know, gave him additional kind of power and then also like extended lifespan. So that's like a little bit of the backstory. And so for all of these characters too, we have extended bios that we've, you know, been writing around all of them. And then on the Kickstarter, there'll be kind of like a condensed bio just because the Kickstarter is like, you'll be scrolling for a really long time, but we're going to have all the full bios up and have other ways to kind of also, you know, kind of introduce, you know, background and lore around the figures.
These wings are insane, man. These are so big. They're massive. Look at the size of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And are they all going to be articulated? Because I don't remember. I mean, the prototype wasn't. But,
they
individual,
will.
like the little hinges.
Each individual will have it, and then I think there's also kind of an additional
secondary piece, right?
Yeah, that can kind of slide in, so you could potentially fold them in if you want them posed, or kind of have them all out. And they have a bit of a curve to them on the shape, so they won't be completely flat. They have like a nice little kind of bend to them.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, this looks wild in person. It's really cool.
And then we have Spite Usurper.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorites. One of my two favorites.
Yep.
Yeah, so this one's actually, this was the original first figure that we made actually when we started the journey. And so, you know, the Spite are kind of like a parasitic organism that, you know, conjoined with the Spite, but the conjoining is normally like a symbiotic kind of conjoining, and this was definitely not that. So the Spite kind of act as overtake the host, and so you know their skin kind of turned, you know, to this red, and it's a little bit on the backstory. You know, obviously got soft goods here. What's kind of really cool about, you know, both like the shin guards, the bicep guards, all that stuff's removable. And so with the shin guards, there's actually kind of two plugs there too. So the way we design the line is there's a lot of other sets of guards that you could potentially swap in with that. Same thing even with the arm piece that he's wearing on his right arm. You could pop that off the even the
form,
mask comes off.
The mask comes off, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a bunch
Very
of kind of cool stuff you can do, as far as, how you want that figure to kind of look, or if you want single guard, double.
So are you saying the wraps on the arms can
So
pull
so
off,
not
or just
so not
the guard on the right arm is
Yeah, the
pegged
guard.
in?
the guard
Okay.
on the right arm has a peg in, and some figures have potentially have a peg on both sides depending on the design. If they have like a gauntlet on both sides, then you'd be able to flip them. On this one, it's on the right one, but the biceps on both sides pop off as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
The biceps.
Yeah, and I think the belt
Bicep
It's
and
like a
guards.
legion. Same
Yeah.
thing.
yeah,
So that
soft
yeah.
bones.
the bicep, the whole bicep pops off Legion style, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that little
Yeah.
shoulder pauldron, both of those are separate. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, the pauldrons, yeah.
Okay. And then
The soft cuts are beautiful.
meld master.
Yep.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought it was mellow master. He could be kind of
think
like
this is
mellow
my
master.
favorite.
He's kind of mellow looking.
Yeah,
This
he's-
this guy's cool. He's got like an
We've seen
ice
some stuff.
crystallized, translucent kind of look to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gives
I
me
love.
hippie traveler vibes.
Mhm.
He's like the original traveler in our story world. But I love how this one turned out, because it's got the the clear plastic, but then also
It's
like on the
great.
shell, we kind of did like a frosted kind of there. So it's like a really nice blend between solid clear plastic, and then gives a little extra with that kind of frosted shell.
Yeah.
But even
Yeah.
that,
It
that
looks
chest
so
strap
cool.
and everything like that is all removable as well. So this guy has a lot of different pieces you can kind of pull on and off.
Yeah, you can see similar to the shin guards. Those are pop up. Those are detachable. The little wrist and bicep attachments. Chest plate all comes off. Backpack comes off. Yeah, and it looks really cool too when you do have that backpack off. Then you see even more of the light kind of like
Yeah.
radiating through it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty
Yeah,
sweet.
I
Trevor
mean,
sent
I
us,
like to think that the pictures do it justice, but it does look really cool in person.
when Trevor sent us the first shot of when he was taking
yeah.
the photos, he
He
did
didn't have the
one,
backpack.
where it was backlit without the backpack, and it was just like glowing like this ultra blue, and I was like, oh man, I'm like, it looks even better without the backpack.
It did look pretty cool.
Yeah. Does his goggles come off? Yes. Yep.
Yep.
Cloud Foxwell, shout out. Just hit the notify me button. Thank you.
Yep. And just quick reminder for those who've come in after we kind of got started, there's link in the description below to the Kickstarter where you can hit the notify me button, and then you'll be notified when the Kickstarter goes live. Yeah. So what was his name? Meld Master,
Meld
not
Master,
Mellow Master. Meld Master.
A little
He's kinda
And then we
mellow.
got
And you're not seeing the weapons and stuff like that in there either, because obviously they can't hold them,
Yeah.
being that they're so, you got to look at these breakdowns of all the stuff that you're going to get
Yeah.
with it, because it's
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
and
nuts.
there, and there you can see all the parts that pop off too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we created like diagram sheets like this. So on the top left, you'll see all the pieces that are kind of like removable, and then accessories, and then they all come with 4 different sets of hands. There's the holding hand, the fist, and kind of like the emotional action kind of hand. Yeah.
Steven also with
Steven.
the notify me.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Steven.
Steven.
I really
Yeah.
like that you guys have both the render with all the accessories and the prototype shots. It's really nice to see both
Yeah.
things there.
We wanted to make it as clear as possible because, when you're scrolling through Kickstarter too, we've noticed that, and with other campaigns we've supported, sometimes it can be hard to know, well, what exactly are you getting? What's real? What's not? And, so I
Absolutely.
think for most of the characters, we even have concept art with color renderings too. So you can see kind of like, where did this
Cool.
evolve from too? So it's
Yeah,
pretty fun.
that's good stuff.
Voidwalker, which is probably my favorite name. I love the name of this character, the Voidwalker, walking through the void. But there's a little close up of the Voidwalker, and then a wider shot. And what do you want to tell us about this guy?
Well, this character is kind of like part of a, kind of mysterious group of Nibiru zealots. He's like an assassin for hire. So he's kind of, at first glance, everyone's like, is this like your evil villain character? And he's actually kind of more of like a anti-hero. you know, kind of like a Deadpool. He's not necessarily a good guy, not necessarily a bad guy.
Cool.
Mysterious character. This one was a lot of fun. You know, when we were creating this, we went through actually a couple different paint revisions on this, and we ended up going back and adding like a ton of extra detail. Like in the first print, you know, if you look at that chest guard, it has all that extra detail, or even the arms. We went back
Really
and
cool.
after we did the first
Yeah.
print, we're like, hey, yeah, I wish, you know, we could see more, you know, veins in the arms and more, you know, kind of patterns and designs. So we kind of went back and just kept refining this one. And George had to paint it like 5 times. He's like, are you sure you want it like this? I'm like, yeah, but maybe we can get a little shine to it, you know, like a little metallic paint. He's like, okay.
And this is still very,
don't kill us.
this is very early in the process for us too, right? I think this was the second action figure that we had done, and so we're still learning about, you know, how to translate colors and to communicate with them, and you know, like when they'll send us a picture, well, of course, if it's taken with a certain camera, it'll look different than you think, and certain different lighting makes it look different. So, yeah, there's a lot of back and forth, and we definitely learned a lot just through this one action figure.
Yeah, this character, I had to buy a Pantone booklet, the color booklet. I was like, all right, I got to see what this is, and you know, be able to get my colors dialed in when we're going back and forth with those guys at Four Horsemen.
Speaking of Four Horsemen, Joe Vasapolo in the house. The soft goods cape is great. So is this here is a soft goods
soft
cape?
goods. Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
I've been really, one of the things I've been really impressed with is the soft goods, especially like right up in here.
Yeah.
Like this is awesome. And this is C. Jessam Designs, right?
Totally. Yeah,
We did the custom print.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then you see
Nice.
all the little stitching and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, this is almost like almost like a leathery material, right? Like if I remember
And then they did like
Yeah.
the hand weathering on the edges.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think the other figure, Bill, that you really like when we were talking pre-show, that one, when we get to it, that one he did, did an amazing job on the soft goods. There's just
that's
so many
another
different
one.
layers.
Yeah, that I'm like super impressed with the soft goods, and I'm starting to already think of like that one, like mixing those soft good parts in with some of the Mythic Legion's wizard type characters. It's gonna work well.
Yeah, and so that hood's removable. The whole top pops off. The skull mask also is removable. So this character can look very different once we kind of pull those off as well, which we haven't done all those.
There's a head underneath there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there's a head underneath there as well.
Interesting.
I forget. Is the hood and the neck piece all one piece? That's one piece, right? I think.
The hood and the cape, I believe, is 3.
No,
pieces, right?
The collar piece and then the hood.
In the first prototype that you had, I think it was 1, but what we decided after that they wanted to split it into 2, and that would make it easier because then that chest. So also on the chest piece, there's kind of like a center piece that can pop off, and so then that cape and that center piece can kind of clip in there, so it holds really nice.
Oh,
so we made some adjustments, throughout the way, especially
because then it's going to be easier to turn and stuff too. I think
exactly.
The head will turn Okay, cool.
This is a good point from Kevin. He this isn't quite his vibe, but he hit the notification button anyway. And I think one of the key things here is like this might not be, your vibe or whatever. But let somebody, like everybody's got a friend who's into this kind of thing. Everybody has friends who are into different things. Like spread the word. Like let people know. That's the best way to to support this.
Yeah.
Even if you're not appreciate the support.
Yeah, and even just the notify, goes a long way. And we thank everyone for tuning in. Yeah.
Yep. And then let's check out a couple comments. Hedgehog, oh hell yeah, with the soft goods. Almost looks like a Belphegor assassin. Belphegor is one of the legions because it's got that chin, right? Like it's like that
that pointy chin
skull kind of thing going on there. Yep. Detail is awesome. Cloud Foxwell is so getting one of these. This dude is my favorite. Wow, people really liking the Void Walker for sure.
Awesome.
Okay,
moving on. We have Quick Jack.
One question: are any of those Legion builders like? This is a single dude, right? Like, so nobody we've seen yet is like could be a group yet of characters, right? Each one of these is individual. Okay, gotcha.
Quick Jack.
insane.
Yep.
with the big gun on his shoulder,
Fully
and the
loaded.
ammo belt.
The colors are nuts.
Yep.
Yeah.
So cool.
This one was a fun, as we were kind of looking at, the backstory of this character, he was kind of a quirky, funky kind of character. And we had gone through, like, in the concepting phase, we went through like 4 or 5 different, color schemes. And, we just kept on being like, this one is so crazy. And I'm like, we were bouncing back and forth, and Joe's like, no, you should do like all black, like, like this is kind of like way more aggressive. And I was like, yeah, but the character's personality, like, so we wanted to, really kind of just go all out with this one, and just kind of, for me, it kind of felt like just like this funky retro kind of figure.
Yeah.
That
it's
like
so
just kind of
throwback.
reminded me. Yeah, it reminded me of something like, very throwback and also futuristic at the same time. So
Yeah.
this one was a lot of fun, but it's super playful. It's like, in the sense of like, yeah, I mean, he's just crazy. so yeah.
It's like the 80s dude.
It's like those
See him going,
retro
like,
igloo coolers that are like being advertised everywhere right now. You guys know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna pull
I've
one
seen
up.
that.
Colored.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull a picture of one of these things up right now. Let's
Picture him going, oh yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
You bust through the wall.
Exactly.
like this. Okay, let me.
Yeah. Bonnie Rotten says, I'd watch this 80s flick for sure.
Yeah, right. I mean, this
definitely
is
the vibe.
totally like a. What's up,
All right,
dudes?
hold on a second. let me share. I'm gonna share a tab here. Hang on. This is a cooler that people are gonna remember from back in the. And it's been being like heavily I see ads for it all the time now that they're like remaking these old retro igloo coolers. So let me share. Let me share this here.
And this guy's got some really cool. He's got the giant hands too, right?
That, that thing.
Oh, there! Oh my God! Yeah. That's
That's
Right?
solid.
That,
Wow.
there, right? Look at, yep. Same.
Wow.
There it
Comes
is.
with a
Igloo.
cooler.
I think there's a.
Oh,
I think there's
a 1/12 scale cooler. That'd be perfect.
I think there's a. I know. I was just gonna say there's some cross marketing possibilities here, man. So it's an igloo.
Yeah, so he's got the giant gauntlet on one side, and then also that gauntlet also has multiple hands as well.
Yep. It's really cool looking.
Yeah.
And then those goggles also pop off. Yeah, you can
Nice.
kind of see here in the breakdown.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's his
Chest
cooler
plate.
gripping hand right there.
That is
Yeah.
that is the cooler hand.
And
I brought the
like
beers.
there's like it's super colorful, but like there's nothing stopping a customizer from totally like painting this thing in like a
yeah.
black color, and
Oh, yeah.
it would look so sick too. Like
Mhm.
See
Totally.
Curtis going nuts on this.
right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, this is fun. Just the design of the armor and stuff is crazy too. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, lots
Yeah,
of
and
cool
that
configurations.
Even actually that chest part actually kind of is like a 2-piece that clips off. So he has another chest armor underneath that as well.
Oh,
So
cool.
there's
That's
a
cool.
lot kind of going on.
Right. So that's like a fun thing about like this and Legions is like exploring the figures as you get them in hand and like seeing all the cool stuff going on.
Mhm.
Totally.
Pale King. This is my other favorite figure. So we got the Pale King.
I just
here.
like that staff. That's my favorite thing.
That is
Yeah.
really
That
cool.
staff. It's
Yeah.
wild.
that is
Yeah,
sweet.
and that staff actually in the center, that's like a clear green
Yeah,
plastic as
Okay.
well, where that kind
it's
of
translucent. It's
Mhm.
really cool.
Oh, I think Marco's
Yeah.
breaking up a little bit here. Yeah, Jeremy,
Yep.
tell us about this guy.
Yeah, this said all about mystery. Comes from the nothing, and it's like this void, this place of emptiness, and so not a lot is known about this character. We haven't even actually revealed the face yet,
Right.
and so there's like a whole other dimension to this character that people haven't seen, but he lives in this world of mysticism and dark magic, and we put a lot into the soft goods on this one too. It's got multiple layers there for the lower tunic, and even the intricate details on the straps, and there's lots of little fun markings to discover, ancient symbols all over different parts of the body as well too. So a lot of little intricate details on this one.
Very cool.
DorkLair member Kevin Dufresne
Yeah,
with
and
the
I think
super
this-
chat as well. Quick Jack was it. That did it for me. More of him. There you go. Quick Jack. You sold. not quite his thing, but
All right,
quick check.
he's
There you
back
go.
in.
Back in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin, for the
There's a little
$2 super
something
chat.
here. Yeah,
We
I
got
would say
lots of
there's a
variety.
lot of this characters. There's a lot of range, so there'll be a little something here maybe
Oh,
for
yeah.
everyone. But
Yeah.
yeah, this soft good, I actually really loved how this came out because there's like that leathery piece with the stripes on
Yep.
the right side.
Mm-hmm.
There's the patterns on the kind of inner skirt
Yeah.
piece,
Holographic
and then
paint.
the outer they did like a really nice weathering, and we kind of did like a dry brush or like a what's it called?
Still some weathering on it, right? Like just
Yeah,
Yeah.
to just kind of match the rest
Along
of
the
the
edge.
character and the vibe,
Mhm.
so it kind of has that, kind of gritty feel to it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that was something I really liked about this guy.
Yeah, these
This
soft
is-
goods are some of these are just insane, man. They're really good designs, really interesting designs, different
Mhm.
stuff. The crisscrossing of this one, and it's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, really happy with how this
Yeah, I
one
love
came
that.
together.
Yeah, so this
Again-
one and
Sorry.
the sort of like lava kind of looking guy, like those are my two
Mhm.
favorite right now.
And again, customizing wise, you could take this stuff and
Oh yeah,
Bill-
this is going on a
Bill,
wizard.
play around with
Yeah.
this on.
We'll
on
have to get you
different
those, Bill.
figures and stuff.
We'll have to get those sent out to you, Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll definitely take a look for sure. Kale Darkhelm. This feels like a big bad kind of guy. This feels
One
like
of the boss characters.
yeah, boss. Yeah, totally, exactly.
He's
tells
actually
about
really
him.
sweet if you get to
Yeah,
know
right.
him.
Yeah, he's the good guy. This is the hero. No.
It's
He
misunderstood.
always brings you cookies when you come over.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
The meatballs.
He
Like
likes to bake.
Wedding
Yeah.
Singer.
Yeah.
So what's cool about this guy is both the kind of what we were talking about earlier too, the pauldrons, are, you can pop them off and switch them with other pauldrons in the collection. That entire shoulder piece, pops off, and he has kind of like a lava crack shell underneath. Even
Yeah.
actually those boots, the front of the kind of shin guard also pops off. So I could see customizers doing all sorts of kind of weird stuff with this one. And then the cape is a wired cape. And then he also has the soft goods, obviously, and like the tunic there as well, which is like kind of like a leathery material. So this guy
And
kind
this
of,
one's a good example too of the character that has the dual forearm slots for those little arm shields.
yeah.
This is
so
Joe
one,
Vasapolo's second favorite right here. And Edgardo with the $2 super chat, also member Edgardo. Awesome promoting this line. Psycho Ed likes it. Thank you, buddy. Let me just check a couple more here. Nate Strong loving all the names of these characters. Yeah, the names are great.
yeah,
Caleb's is hell-
naming the characters too has been like a fun and then ridiculous, likely hard process, because like you'll come up with this name and then you'll look back at that's actually a comic from 1980, like you're
Right.
you're coming up with
Yeah.
these names and
Wow, somebody
I'm
actually
going,
used that.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
it was
trademarked.
funny. Yep.
Yeah.
It's like
Grim Spectre,
Spectre.
the designs and customization concepts behind these figures are amazing and awesome. I only wish they had double jointed elbows and knees for the extra range of motion. And that's the trade-off. Like, name a
Yeah.
line that's pop and swappable that's got double jointed knees and
Yeah.
elbows. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
And that
it's
was the
possible,
consideration
but like,
for us.
yeah, it's possible, but it's not going to be user friendly
Not
for
at
the
all.
masses with
Yeah.
with that kind of stuff. So that's the trade-off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the badass reviews. This is where you guys just were, right? You guys were on Toy Addicts, right? What's up, dude? Carlos,
Yeah.
$2 super chat. He can be a hero and a villain.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Carlos?
yeah, Carlos was
Yeah, you
saying
guys-
he loves the villains.
You did a good job of too. There's reuse here, but it's very well hidden and changed up from figure to
Yep.
figure. You know what I mean? Like, so you really can't tell. The colors are different. They're painted up a little
Yeah.
differently, and there's
The
so much
cracked
going
surface
on.
Torso
With-
and arms
yeah.
there. Like, that's
Yeah.
super versatile when you do one in translucent and paint it with frost, and you do one in
Exactly.
lava, and then it's like there's a lot of good
Yeah.
possibilities there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, a lot of
there's
Wow,
enough.
consideration
people are.
for design.
This seems to be the favorite right here. This one. What's it called?
That's awesome.
What's its name again?
Kale.
Darkhelm.
Darkhelm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kale Darkhelm. Nice.
Yeah.
Very
You can see
strong
the-
first showing. Go ahead,
You can
Trevor.
see the side view of the face there. I don't know if that's something
Oh, a little teaser. Little
you're not
Yeah.
showing
teaser,
yet,
is that?
but it is kind of there.
I'll get it
Well,
off
it's
that
kind of in the
screen.
concept
Yeah,
art too.
well. Yeah.
But
Yeah, this was
I
a
think the
popular
answer to
one. I
this
saw
question
that,
is
like,
yes.
when
We'll
we got
probably at
this
the
one done,
end. Sorry, go ahead.
You got it.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
we'll probably talk pricing when we get to the end of it. Cloud Foxwell, you have this girl's attention for sure. I'll be backing, and Caleb, me too.
Yeah. Recon
And then we
rate.
have-
Can you zoom in on
Awesome.
the
Thanks for
face?
the support, everyone.
I can't zoom in on, so this is like the
yeah.
closest I can do right now. I
Lots of
can't
cool
zoom
details.
on my slideshows.
That's okay.
That's close enough, I guess. Go full
Yeah.
screen.
You can go on Instagram and you can zoom in on them there.
Or just go to
Yeah.
what is it? Legendari dot what is it? Legendari.io?
Oh, yeah, metatravelers.io, and then
yeah.
you can just go /legendary, or there's a
Yep.
button to go check it out right on
Yep.
the homepage.
And you should see most, if not all of these on there.
Now, is Legendari under Meta Travelers? Is that like sort of a for lack of a better word, is that like a chapter or a type? These are the type of characters that are Legendari, and is there going to be other, subs from that, like Meta Travelers?
Yeah.
Bakery line. Like, just going back to the baked goods. I'm very hungry.
Maybe, but yeah, run by KL Darkhelm. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, for us, Meta Travelers is kind of like the overarching universe that
Right.
we're building. Yeah, and then Legendary is just the name of the first action figure line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are Legendary, and it's kind of, there will be more to the story. We're building lots of cinematics and other
Okay.
stuff around it, but there's kind of like a origin event that kind of sparks the uprising of all the Legendary, basically
Gotcha.
to unite and balance the scales. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So the motion comics and stuff will continue.
Yeah, so there's
as the story builds, right?
Yeah, and so like our the original motion comics that we did years ago, that was kind of like the origin story, but there's an event that happens there that kind of will veer off, that kind of will kind of wrap in with these characters as well. So kind of tying in, what we have, created and as we move forward.
Nice.
Brian's in the house. As a small time
what's up,
dio builder, the only request I would have is to get something as simple as concept art for inspiration to create fittings for dios that complement the awesome style of the figures. So what Brian I think is saying is concept art that shows environments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Duarte too. At shout out to y'all. You make really cool dioramas. I think I saw them at Legion's Con last year, and they're spectacular. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys have some renders of that kind of stuff, right? Like some environments and things like that, right?
So we actually have
Duarte made me.
Nice. Yeah, we have we're gonna have some comic art that we've built that we've created as well that Ant Williams drew. And that will also be probably featured on box art. And then we also have these characters that the digital versions of these characters that will start to kind of do some short kind of like animations that kind of also give a little bit more background to the character, and in different environments. It'll kind of give you a feel for kind of where these characters and what parts of the world that these kind of characters are coming from.
Yeah, those are really cool. Go check those out. The little motion graphics of them moving, just kind of walking in place. They look really cool.
Yep. And we can bring up the site after if you guys want to like highlight anything.
Totally.
But next we have Arcturus.
Oh yeah.
And this is one of those ones that's like, you look at that and then you get to this, you're like, oh wow, that's like
completely different.
Striking.
Yeah. So this is clear plastic again on the arms, but it's also going to be a glow in the dark plastic. So we'll have that also clear plastic on the face piece that has kind of these two. So one of the artifacts in our world is called the Genesis Stone, and these are like shards of these different types of stones that have different kind of characteristics / potential abilities. And so this character is much more kind of in the mystical kind of realm of our universe. And I think in the last breakdown image you saw, he has like a giant staff that also has a stone that's like a clear plastic.
Oh, cool.
And what's really cool about this one is the mask actually kind of pops off, so you could have it with the hood or pull that off, and then there's a version with the mask that kind of has a strap over, so you have kind of multiple different ways you can kind of see in the concept art on the bottom left of how that character could look.
That's cool.
Yeah, and this one comes from a line of mystic healers, and so he's also made with the glow in the dark plastic, and when you can kind of see the glow in the dark veins come up the arms, and yeah, this one's going to be really cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, I love this one. I love the weathered, like the weathering on the soft goods looks incredible. I mean, again, this is a great way of, sort of reuse that it really hides the reuse. You're mixing and matching some of these parts from different, like that was the I forgot his name already. The Sprite. Soft goods, and then the cape from the Void Walker, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah, we try to, kind of mix and match these also, but like the colors, trying to make sure that each one, felt new and, original, but at the same time, trying to, work the tooling in a way that, wasn't necessarily, overdone, where it felt like, you're kind of getting a repeat of a certain character.
Is Arcturus an homage to the Micronauts Arcturus Ron?
It's not, actually. It's not, but...
What's his name? Arcturus?
See that?
Is Arcturus Ran?
Interesting.
That was it? Okay.
Arcturus Ran, yeah. Oh, no.
I don't remember.
It's not.
I don't... Okay.
People love
Glow in the dark, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep getting that, when we were on the last show as well. They're like, more translucent, more glow in the dark. I'm like, you could have done a whole line, and I think people loved it. In clear plastic.
There are people who will just collect glow in the dark figures like that.
Yep. Nate, really unique designs. Loving everything we've seen so far. Super interested in reading the comics and getting to know these characters. And your YouTube channel, I mean, you can access it all on the website, but like your YouTube channel is also Meta Travelers, right? So if people want to watch those videos. There you go. Siberius Kane.
Yeah.
There we go. Siberius Kane. Oh, I didn't do a close-up of Siberius, but yeah. Tell us about Siberius.
Yeah, this character's a little bit mysterious. Has kind of, without getting too far into his background, a little bit of hardships that kind of molded him into this kind of alter ego of this character. And so, yeah, he's kind of got the, cybernetic kind of sci-fi helmet, and he goes to avenge some things that happened to him in his past that you guys can read about when we release all the bios.
Cool. Very cool stuff here. And there's just like another look at the so that's claws. Like the hand has like Wolverine style, like
yeah, and you can pull that. Yeah, and you can pull actually that little clip off, so you can pull off the claw and things like that.
Sweet.
It's got a very Boba Fett Wolverine.
It's funny.
Hybrid.
I've been getting as soon as I was sending this out to friends, and I feel like the last podcast, they're like, Star Wars vibes, Mandalorian vibes. I'm like, it wasn't intentional, but I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah, but the colors are different, and just like, again, just really, really cool. So they pick some really great colors for these things.
I like browns and golds. I think that's an underused combo for figures.
Yeah, and that sort of
teal. I mean, Wolverine kind of has that, but like I'm talking like metallic golds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny with the gold too. We went through a lot of back and forth on a couple different characters. Just you would be surprised how many different types of gold there are with paints. And they're like, oh, gold doesn't look quite right. And they're like, well, how about this one? Not quite right. And then so we
George,
just had them.
George, one shade later.
Yeah. Yeah, so they sent us all their gold swatches and made it a lot easier to pick them.
So let me pull up the site. So let me share this tab instead. Come over here, close the cooler out. Yeah. So here's your website. And I just have to shift a couple things around here just to be able to navigate. It may not scale really well. I guess I won't look at the chat for a second, so it might not scale really well, but I'll get it as big as I can for now, so I can see it. Yeah. So here's your website. Is there anything that you want us to highlight on here? Like, so if people want to browse, they go here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just go to the Legendari page, and it'll take you to where you are.
Yeah.
So one thing that's actually, oh, go ahead.
Go for it.
Oh no, I was just saying, one thing that's really unique about this collection that we haven't really touched on yet is, part of the stretch goals that we're doing include, these different digital features to this. So one of the things that we just showcased on our Instagram as one of the kind of stretch goals is this kind of a augmented reality experience where you take your phone and scan the box of the action figure, and then that character pops up. And then there's like a, narrated bio that is happening around the character. So instead of, going either on the site or going on the back of the box, there's this kind of, new kind of way to storytell and a way to kind of introduce these figures. And then part of also in the stretch goals here is being able to give everyone access to these digital files. So that character that you like, the Spite on the left, you can see the fully rendered 3D digital character on the side that's fully rigged, so you could take that character into like a virtual reality and like be that character. And so this is a little bit of the augmented reality experience where that was on Jeremy's couch and then it kind of pops up and shows that character. And there's other different features that we kind of want to play around with here. And that's just another way for people to kind of have a digital and a physical experience. So the action figure was the first thing that we wanted to deliver, but also being able to kind of have these characters built in the digital sense allows us to do short cinematics and other things on top of just comics. So it's kind of like a bunch of different ways to kind of experience this characters. And
for us, it all ties back into the storytelling and character development. And it's just with the digital extras, it unlocks a whole new world, whole new ways to interact with your action figures, learn more about them, and kind of deepen that connection that collectors have, with their collectibles.
Sweet.
Yeah, so there's still, I think, another 4 or 5 figures that, we have 2 that we're not going to reveal till the Kickstarter goes live, and then I think there's a few other ones that maybe we passed some concept art there as well, but still more to come.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Anything else on the site that you wanted to show off in here at all?
Nothing in particular.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but if anyone's interested in learning more about kind of like the overarching, Meta Travelers universe, website would be the place to go.
Yeah.
And size-wise, height-wise, these are about 7 inches, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're 7 inches.
So they scale well with Mythic Legions really well. I think there might be some comparison things coming up.
Oh, nice. And we'll scale with like Animal Warriors. We'll scale with a lot of NECA stuff, right? Like Cosmic Legions, of course. Yep. We'll scale with a lot of cool things. I think figures in general in that like fantasy sci-fi mode, aside from Star Wars Black Series and Marvel Legends, like they tend to skew up. Like I think a lot of the independent lines tend to skew upwards above that 6 inches, right? Like into that 7-inch range. So these are right in that sweet spot.
And even with those, like I could see that Kale Darkhelm being somebody's, long lost Sith or something like that in a Star Wars shot or something like that.
Totally. I mean, I think Spite is almost like he's got like Darth Maul vibes going on for me.
Yeah, we've drawn from so many different places for inspiration that I think you will see a lot of those compatible crossovers.
Oh yeah,
totally.
In comparisons, we love seeing that.
What's up, Figure Fanatic?
Hey, what's up, man?
Cyberrat, totally interested in the ball jointed elbow. Sounds like a great evolution in toy design. I'm kind of skeptical of that language. I think it's a hinge and swivel like Legions, right, Trevor? I mean, those prototypes.
I
you
don't
can
remember
probably
because they were glued together, so I didn't really look at them in detail.
I mean, just
but
looking at like the images, it looks like
I think
it
they
looks
are. I think they're very
to-
similar. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a miswording. Do you guys
We'll go back
have any
and
I
insights?
gotta talk to
that.
CB.
Yeah.
I'm gonna yell at CB for that.
Talk
No,
to those guys because it just check in with them because that might be a language.
Yeah, may be wrong.
That was
I don't know.
CB's
We'll
wording,
double check
but
on that.
they are definitely, in the same, kind of design realm as the Mythic. So I would assume that there would,
Okay.
maybe just the wording was not as
Okay.
specific.
Yeah, so just 15 total for the Kickstarter, is that right?
Yeah. So we're gonna have eight right off the bat. Then we're gonna hit stretch goals all the way up to 15. We also have some weapon packs. We have a couple head packs.
Yep.
So and then a stand, a bunch of other stuff. So
what that means is for those watching right now, just a little teaser. We showed 9 figures. One of those 9 is going to be a stretch goal. You're going to have to hit the notify button and find out which one's missing or which one's a stretch goal when this thing goes live. But you got to hit that notify button, click the link in the description below so that you can find out. We're not going to tell you which one right now. Okay, Q&A. And Trevor, if you could keep your eye on the chat for questions and maybe star them. I'm going to go to my Instagram post first. And I'm going to scroll through,
but I'll keep track.
And I'll read some comments here. So let me pull this. I'll leave that up, but I'll leave it up as that. Okay, on Instagram, we've got some comments. Hedgehog Action, who actually joined in with this a little while ago, says, "Cool. I've been wondering about this line. It would be cool to get some more info. The Toy Farce. Those look so cool. Can't wait to hear more." This is Nixtagram says, "Curiouser and curiouser." Mountain Arts Review actually has a question. What made this company move into the action figure industry? And I think that question is derived from, you guys kind of come from the digital gaming NFT world, right? Like, how did you, and you've touched on this a little bit, but just kind of quickly recap how you moved into action figures from there.
Yeah, so we started with the digital collection that we have of characters, and we've been building the universe and backstory for all of these characters, and we happened to get connected with Joe Viteri. He had seen everything that we had worked on until that point, and said, "Hey, you guys have some awesome stuff here. This could totally make for a really awesome action figure line." And then Marco called me up and I was like, "All right, we're making action figures." And then, it just kind of snowballed from there. And he, introduced us to Four Horsemen. And, they were just excited about the project as we were, and things just snowballed, from there.
Nice.
So were you going towards it like an NFT type of play or anything like that at one point? I mean, was it a little more going to be in the digital realm, or
we had done a little bit of both. Like I said, it kind of like started with motion comics, then it went to like kind of digital stuff, and that's why part of some of the stretch goals is being able to combine, that type of physical collectible.
Yeah, no, I love that.
And people giving people free digital collectibles with that. When it comes to the figures, I grew up loving figures. I thought it would be great. I just, like I think what we touched on earlier is, actually creating a figure is really, really difficult. And if you don't know how to do that, it's going to be probably a very, even if you have a great team to partner with, it's still a massive undertaking. And so, I think that was one of the things, is just being able to have the right studio to work with that could actually build something that, we wanted to be, really premium and, be able to have all these different features and customization. And once we kind of knew that we had that opportunity, then it was just like all systems go.
Yeah. Well, you picked the right one. And sorry, go ahead.
I have my own question. Who's running the who's managing the factory production for you?
Well, we've been talking with the guys at Four Horsemen. We're still working on all the different production logistics and all that kind of stuff on that end. So, we'll be just kind of working with them as we, kind of get ready.
Okay.
And
I think it'll be Chris, right?
So
Probably
probably Chris then, yeah.
Yeah.
And then what was my other? I had another question that kind of got sparked from there. And I lost it. So go ahead, Trevor. What do you got?
Vonnie Rotten Picks. Any plans for a game?
Well, a game is another
big
huge
undertaking.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we've wanted to. We've looked at different experiences, digital experiences, and things where you could hop into virtual worlds. Gaming is its own beast. And it can take years of development and millions of dollars. And so it's something that I don't want to rule out that we would never do it, but it's also something that would probably be further in the distance. We had done some fun little kind of smaller stuff where there was like little kind of fight stuff in the digital world, but nothing like a full-on fledged out game. Just
see,
it's such a process.
I really like the digital aspect of this more than Hasbro got a lot of flack. I understand NFTs, I get it. I don't get some of the value on some of these things, but I get what the point of them is. And Hasbro had the starting lineup things, and you got a free NFT, and everyone was like, who cares? But with this, the interactivity of it, what you just showed, and in order to to show the different configurations of the figure, to show a bio, to show how it moves and stuff, that stuff is cool. I really, really seriously, definitely like that. You know what I mean? I'd be open to that with any kind of action figure line.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And not having to keep it in some ethereal place, maybe on your site or something like that, but not on some Bitcoin type, whatever.
And for us, it really comes down to the features and the storytelling. It all just comes back to the storytelling, character development, and how can we bring these action figures to life in new fun ways for the collectors.
Yeah.
And I think what's also kind of fun too is, I know with other collections like you're mentioning, you get a JPEG, you get a picture of something.
That's it. Yeah.
These are
maybe it spins around or something like that, and that's it.
We can create these cool experiences in augmented reality, but then also for people who do know how to use those 3D files and want to do something fun with them, make their own art with them or create their own animations.
Oh wow,
they have access to those fully rigged, essentially game ready.
Oh wow!
Assets. So
I didn't get that.
A lot more than just like a photo or something that maybe
How do you feel about people creating third-party parts and stuff that are compatible with these?
I welcome it. I mean, I totally welcome it. I think it makes it fun and I think that will be exciting for me to see what are other people going to kind of build onto this and do with it, because I think that it also just brings more people who, enjoy the, what we're making, and we're kind of building this kind of thing together, which becomes kind of a fun thing to see what people will do.
Yeah, definitely set parameters for that. Obviously, that's what the Four Horsemen did too, in terms of you can't just recreate everything. You know what I mean? Especially if they've got STL files or something for that. You just can't build your own figure, from ground up. But usually, the people who are into this stuff and in the communities are good about that stuff. So I think it'll be cool, man. I think it's a good base for a lot of cool 3D parts for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We also got some more comments in my Instagram post. We got one from Unparalleled Universe, who is another really great YouTuber. It says, "These look dope." Day Raven Rock Hard says, are these first time folks, or have they worked on something we'd know? We've already answered that question. This is your first go at figures. Also, why do I want these pretty much on site? And then
they look cool.
It'll be cool it'll be cool to see if they are interchangeable with mythic and cosmic parts. I would assume no, not. Some parts
there,
cloth goods, certain things, but they're not going to be peg, pop, and swap type.
No.
Yeah, but I'm sure people will come up with their own custom adapters. And
stuff. Oh yeah. And I'm already thinking about first of all, head swaps are always possible. You can just, you know, you can make a neck. You can do cloth good swaps. There's going to be some really fun things that'll happen. But yeah, I don't think you're not going to be able to like pop an arm off and just pop it into a Legions figure.
This is from Nate. I'm going to expand on this question, but do Marco and Jeremy collect Legions? If so, any thoughts? Faves. I'm going to say, what do you collect? Like beyond that, if you don't collect those, do you collect other lines? Have you collected in the past? Are you actively collecting?
I was going to say, so I was more growing up collecting more action figures when it was WWF, and I had all the Jacks, like probably maybe 75 to 100 of those, which I still have. But over the past like 2-3 years, I've been kind of a nomad. My fiance is from Toronto. I was living in California, and I have all my stuff in a storage container, and I've been kind of bouncing back and forth and traveling a ton for work and all sorts of other stuff. So I'm waiting to get settled into my next place so I can start to open everything back up and start my collecting experience more. I know Jeremy was picking up some mythics last year when we were at Legions Con. But
yeah, not a huge collection anymore. I had most of my collection when I was younger, and then they ended up exchanging hands to go to my nephews and nieces. But growing up, it was always Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, WWF, Batman, Spider-Man, you know, some of this was classics. I had a ton of the smaller G.I. Joes. And then, I have a Valak Mythic Legions.
There you go.
I was eyeing out of the Cosmic. I really want that. Was it a Valkatar? That guy is crazy with the...
Thygar, Valkatar.
But I haven't got that yet.
And here's like a little follow-up question. Like now that you're like kind of like diving into the action figure world, what are you guys drawn to? Are you, obviously you guys are drawn to Mythic Legions. You went to Legions Con last year, Cosmic Legions and so on. But are there other, have you been even just going through our news, like, are there things that are starting to catch your eye where you're like, ooh, that would be cool to collect? Like, oh, I want to get some 1/6 figures, or I'd love to check out some of these like NECA turtles, or like what things have been starting to catch your eye now that you're in this world a little bit more?
The really high quality, like whatever can cram the most detail and intricacies, I'm really drawn to. There's a one that came up yesterday that was a Japanese name, but I can't remember the name, but they did these really intricate versions of like a Batman, and there's like a samurai one. I'd have to look up the name of it.
That was like the Agent Spawn. Was that the one you're talking about that we were looking
at?
That would be Amazing Yamaguchi, right?
Oh, Amazing
Yamaguchi. Yeah, those are really cool. That's the one that's coming to mind right now.
Yeah, I think
just to clarify. Go ahead, Marco.
Oh no, I was gonna say because I've had so much stuff in storage, I'm kind of getting, once I get back, like I said, I think I have to go down the line and go through like a bunch of different stuff to catch up on that I haven't got, just from like classics that I still haven't yet to collect. So part of this experience too is like kind of brings me back to like the childhood and that excitement of figures. So like it's been kind of like a fun kind of, well, now you're on this side, right? Like kind of creating them, but also, from the collector standpoint, like wanting to, kind of really build a collection a little bit further. So
I think as excited as you guys are with seeing like prototypes and stuff, like I was talking to Eric about this when I was over at the studio a couple weeks ago, and like, he's like, everybody gets very excited to see like the prototypes, and like the both of us were like, I can't wait till the production figures come out, because I want to actually move them around and put them in the poses that I'd like to put them in. And once you get them in hand and start moving around, I think you're going to be like not only hooked on your own stuff, which you already will be, but like I think if you're not hooked on something else yet, you're gonna dive into this quickly. And just to clarify, Marco's background is not real, so those are not. It's like, hey, can Marco grab one of those action figures behind him and bring it? Like, no, that's not. That's what his room will look like when we get the production figures for.
Could you imagine the self-discipline it takes to have 3 shelves and only like 4
I know.
figures like evenly spaced out on like
This is the legendary
pipe
collection.
dream.
I just have some of Trevor's got to hold the prototypes. I haven't had a chance to hold them yet, so I had to.
I know. I can't believe that.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Well, they'll make you crazy. I'm telling you. You'll be like, this looks great. Oh, the hand fell off. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
A couple questions when I posted in the Cabal. A couple questions that are connected to your like NFT world and the crypto world and stuff. Someone said, Nathan Finley says, shame that the designs are neat. I don't like supporting NFT meta products. Are these NFT meta products? Like the digital side of it?
Yeah, and so there might be some confusion with the name. We actually changed our name, or we created Meta Travelers and named it about 4 months before Facebook even changed their name to Meta. So I could see some of the confusion there. And as far as the Kickstarter and physical action figures, these are physical action figures that we're delivering on. And any digital extras is kind of like what we're doing on top of that. It's not really related to.
And those aren't NFTs. They're just kind of freebie kind of extra experiences that we want to like offer on top of that.
Yeah. Okay. So like people who are concerned where some people are concerned with the environmental impact of NFTs or even sort of like the investor, like questionable investment, like side of NFTs, like for those people buying these figures is not, you're not like also buying an NFT. You're not necessarily like supporting the production of NFTs. It's not connected in that way.
No. Yeah. And obviously all the figures and everything is made in an environmentally friendly way. So we're not on that side.
And based on, we haven't gotten to the price yet, but based on what I know of the price, I think I know of the price, it's not a factor in, really in the price of the figure. You know what I mean? The figure is the figure, it seems like, whereas where people were saying, oh, $50 for a starting lineup figure, but you get an NFT, it's like, well, how about if I don't get the NFT? You know what I mean? But like, that's not this. This is, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. So,
Yeah. And that was one of the things too. That's why we just put it as a deeper stretch goal. So like the figures were the focus here. And so that's, once we have that, we can deliver on the figures. And if we do digital experiences, great. If we don't, that's fine too. We'll still probably do some cinematic stuff because we like that, and do some like digital animations with the characters, but that's just kind of like extra stuff that we just wanted to kind of throw at.
Oh, okay, so that's a stretch goal then. That's cool.
That's
okay,
actually one of the last stretch goals. So all the figures would be released way before any digital unlocks would happen.
Very cool. Okay, so there you go.
And then I got like maybe one or two more questions, and then you guys can kind of like tease the rough date and the estimated price and stuff. So with that kind of, with your connection to the NFT world and that kind of group, and I would imagine you've somewhat marketed this venture to them a little bit. What's the response been? Like when you say to like the NFT crypto people and you're like, hey guys, check this out. We're doing some action figures, some physical action figures. How have they responded? Are they like kind of into it? You think like you're going to turn some people on to action figures who might not have been into it before? Or like, what's your read on that?
Yeah, we've gotten really positive responses from, the community, because I think that, the people who were collecting digital things, they come from a background of they're collectors, so whether they're comic collectors or they're figure collectors or coin collectors or whatever, like they kind of come from that same, passion of wanting to have collections of things that they're they care about. And so they love kind of the story of these characters, so they were excited, and as we got to kind of reveal these characters, it was a really interesting response. So it's cool because you kind of get a blend and introduce people into the action figure world and into that if they're not already into it. And then, be able to also offer action figure collectors some cool digital experiences and some, augmented reality and some, fun stuff for them, which, from what I've seen, you don't really have that kind of stuff in the action figure space, right? So you kind of get to like, introduce people to new things on both sides of the aisle kind of way.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. I like
Okay,
it.
so that should bring us to the last two questions. When is this Kickstarter? And you can just give us an estimate. When is this Kickstarter going to begin?
Jeremy?
31st.
So never speak all the
End of
words.
the month. Yeah. So next
Yeah.
Thursday, actually.
Next
Yeah, we're
Thursday.
shooting for
Okay.
August 31st, and
Okay.
then would you like me to get to the prices? I'm sure.
Yeah,
what
with
everyone's waiting for.
pricing.
Yeah, so we're looking to price these at $39 on the Kickstarter, and yeah, So we're right around the corner here. Kind of getting the stuff set up for backer kit, and just getting all the last kind of crossing the T's and dotting the I's type of thing, and get
Mhm.
this thing up and going here. So
Yeah.
we'll be also making tons of announcements. Probably the day or two leading up into it. Just to make sure everyone's informed. So if you guys aren't following us, follow us on Instagram. And we'll be putting everything out there, and all the different socials as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Link below. Link to the Instagram is down in the description. Link to the Kickstarter to go hit the notify button is also down in the description. And I just want to thank you guys for coming on, and just let you know, like, anytime you want to come back on, if you're mid campaign and you want to like share some new things that you're adding, and you want to come back on the DorkLair, you're more than welcome, of course.
Oh, we love that.
Someone's asking for all-in price. I feel like it's probably too early to announce that, right? Because you haven't revealed everything that's even in it, right?
Not yet. Yeah, and we are finalizing just some of the last details on our reward tiers.
Yeah.
But I mean, just so people know, we will be pricing it, fairly and competitively, and obviously the bigger the package, the sweeter the deal.
Right.
Have you worked at all, or looked at all, or thought about I'm sure you've thought about packaging, but anything you think we'll see on the Kickstarter in terms of like a render or something like that, or because that's important to some people.
We're thinking, about a window box for these.
Okay.
We want to be able to make sure that people could see, the figures and everything that comes with it. So we don't want to kind of like hide it behind, any type of kind of bookcase or something like that. I figured, with some
collector
of those,
friendly stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when
Okay.
you're going to those special editions, when there's IP that and you're like, okay, I know what Darth Vader looks like. I don't need to see it, but like for us, we wanted people to be able to see everything and all the accessories.
Absolutely.
So going to go with a window box, and like I was saying earlier, Ant is going to be designing a lot of the comic art for each character that will feature on the box. So they should look great.
Cool. Yeah, it is a good price point.
Sweet.
There you go.
So thank you guys for coming on. That'll pretty much wrap it up for today. Any last thoughts? Any last things you want to share? Things you've left out?
No, it's great thanks for having us on. Trevor, thank you again for all the amazing work on the photos, and we'll definitely love to come back. And Bill, like I said, we'll get you some figures in your hands.
Sweet. Yeah, it'd be great. And Trevor, thank you for coming on last minute. Really appreciate it.
Sure thing.
So for everybody in the chat, what I want you to do is answer this question, but not in the chat. Do not answer it in the chat. This is a post-show question. Answer this question when the video ends. Just wait a minute. When the video ends, answer this question in the comments. I've put my two favorite figures up. Like right now, I mean, when they come in hand, it will probably change. But like right now, just at first glance, these are my two favorite figures. I want you to tell me, of these two, which is your favorite, or which do you like better? Or I guess, if you have a favorite you want to share, you could also share that in the comments. But after the show, once the show ends, put that in the chat. And just a huge shout out to the super chats and all the audience for joining in here and hanging out with us for nearly 2 hours. Very much appreciated. And until next time, may the force be with you. Follow me.